Welcome, impactful parents. Today, we're going to be talking about child safety at school dismissal. Hello, my name is Christina Campos. I'm founder of The Impactful Parent, and I help parents of school-age children turn their chaos into connection with their adolescent. And today, this is my Inspire and Learn series, where real parents come on and tell their story of inspiration and learning. Because a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a wiser man learns from other people's mistakes. And today, we're going to learn from Tabitha Barron. Tabitha is a hardworking, self-motivated mother of two. And with 15 plus years of engineering experience, she chose to create a platform that helps children effectively communicate their way home from school. Her business is called Keeping Your Kids Safe, or KYKS for short. And this awesome parenting tool was created to reduce the stress that principals and parents have after school so that they can reduce that risk of losing a child. I am really excited to talk to her today about her business and how we can all benefit from it. So thank you for being here today, Tabitha. Well, Tabitha, I know that this has to have a story. We don't just build something out of nowhere. So tell me, what is the personal story behind keeping your kids safe?
What do they say? The mother of all invention, right? Starts with something that happens to you. So at the time, my 5-year-old niece got put on the wrong school bus twice in the same school year. I was extremely frustrated because do not live in the same state right now, but my mom is very calm about it. But the point was nobody was taking responsibility. So in order for me to ask people to do something different, I had to build a solution that I can actually offer as an option.
Keeping your kids safe, give me a big overview. Is it just helping kids who get on the wrong bus, or could it be a variety of different things?
Creating a system or a platform that helps each child effectively communicate their way home has to include walkers and bikers, car riders, childcare bus riders, and the yellow bus riders for elementary school campuses. We want to make sure that every parent is aware of where their child starts to get home or to their next destination. And the only way to do that is to open it up so that all 4 dismissal options were available for the parents and for the schools.
So how does this work?
So each child will get a card, an access card. Each administrator, whether it's a bus driver or part of the dismissal team, will get a tablet. They will scan their cards to the tablet, and their predetermined information will appear on the screen for review. If it's good, you can hit green and they move on to their next location. If it's bad, they'll get an audible alarm and a red banner will appear on the screen and says, "Hey, you're sending that kiddo in the wrong direction. Now you have a choice." So they can choose to accept and then process the next steps, or they can reject, which both times they're going to send a message to the families. When the family gets a message, they get the first one, but the second one coming through will tell them, yes, your kiddo did make it to the right bus. Yes, they're on their way home to the next destination. So instantaneously, they get a message that says, we're sending that kid in the right direction or the wrong direction, but it also pulls in the parents communicating, right? So you got the school saying, hey, you need to look for bus 5, and you got mom saying, you got to look for bus number 5. That means that consistency and repetition for that child, both sides of the fence, is feeding the same information. He or she will begin to look for bus number 5.
This sounds awesome. What about if I'm a parent, I got really busy, and I just need somebody else to pick my kid up from school today?
Okay, that's pretty cool. So it depends on a car rider. So if you're doing a car rider, they can actually make changes in our parent app that allows them to change their dismissal or even change who's picking them up. As long as they're part of the approved list, they should be able to make those changes in the app in order for another parent or someone else to pick them up. Just as long as they've done the paperwork prior, those packets at the beginning of the school year with all that information. As long as you complete that and add your people, they will be part of the process.
So keeping your kids safe, is it an app or it's a whole process? It's a whole system, it sounds like.
It is a system, because with my engineering background, I just can't build it and give it to you. That's like throwing things over the fence and saying, haha, figure it out. I don't do that. So we help with the process. We give them the equipment, and we have two apps, and they work together. They complement one another. The main app is the admin app, and that is actually in the schools or the buses. The parent app is the complement. So that parent app is where they will be able to purchase new cards. They can have as many students on there as they need, and then they can actually make changes to dismissal and receive their notifications there.
I would think that for separated, divorced families, that this is going to be amazing because, communication between you and the other parent can get tricky as it is, but to know that your ex-spouse picked up the kids and they're going to where they need to go, that just sounds like, woof, less stress. Hooray.
That's what I say too, right? So I'll tell you this story. So I'm in the car rider line, and we're rolling out the car rider system at this time. And I'm scanning all of these tags because, I have to get down in the trenches to make sure it works right. So I'm scanning all these tags, and I run up on this parent, and I scan, and it says, "Hey, someone's already here to pick them up." And I was like, "Are you aware that someone is further up in the line to pick up your kid?" They're like, "Oh, okay, no problem." And he went to pull out, and I stepped in front of the car, and I said, "I'm sorry. Do you not want to find out who that person is before you drive away?" Because that could be somebody who is not supposed to pick them up. So being able to receive those type of alerts, letting people know, hey, you already either have someone here, and then verifying who that is, or being able to know, work that out, that's very beneficial to the parents. And having both of them on there, that means there's less communication having to come from the school, between the school and and each of the parents.
Now, tell me a little bit more about it. Does KYKS actually track your child then through the process?
Absolutely not. So there is another part of the system that will be brought up, and that's going to be for latchkey kids, or for kids that go home first, and the parents will follow in shortly thereafter. But as of right now, there is no active tracking with our system, and that's done intentionally. Me personally, I have 2 young adults, right? And I would love to track them. I'm not interested in learning where they went, because I don't want to do that. No one really wants their children to be tracked by any other system but their own. So I do not want ever anybody to believe that we are tracking your children unless you adopt another part of the program in which you are responsible for tracking your child with our equipment.
And that's a very easy compliment. Many phones, even safe phones that don't have internet or anything, social media on them, they still have tracking on their devices. So it would be really easy that if you had a parent who wanted to be a part of this system, but still wanted to track their child, easily that you can do that by just purchasing something different.
Yes. And I'm glad you bring up the cell phone thing, because a lot of people are like, a cell phone, we could just give our kids a cell phone. Are you giving your 5-year-old $800 cell phone? How about $400? Because at the end of the day, they see it. What are you giving it to them for now? You're giving it to them to play games, to watch movies, to look on YouTube, none of which helps them. So you're not going to give a 5-year-old a phone at the early part of the day and tell them, don't touch it, because I need to track you, because it's never going to happen. So it's just not smart. Not saying those people who are giving their children those phones are not smart. I just don't think it's not the answer to the question.
No, and I absolutely hear you. And I would actually really agree with that. You don't want to get a younger child a device like that just out of expense. They're going to lose things. They don't understand the value the same way that we do as adults. And so there's other tracking devices that you can do. Even I feel Apple has little trackers that you can put on their backpack or whatever you need to do. There's ways to work around it without having you track them and then going into liability issues. And like you said, not everybody wants their child being tracked by a third party. You want to be able to control that. So I love what this app is doing. How can parents get this adopted into their own school programs?
Well, that's a great question. So I have a couple of different ways that we can get it in there, right? So one is that I really like talking to elementary school principals who have a chaotic dismissal and are looking to bring their chaos down to calm. Those are the first ones we would like to talk to, because that way we understand. I would like you to understand, as parents, we actually hold the cards to the answer. We can actually go to our schools and request for certain things to be adopted. So my recommendation is to go and ask them to adopt, or to at least give us a call so that we can actually share what our solution is meant to do and how it works. And the other one is that if you rally around with a bunch of other parents and choose to say, we want to gift this to our school, you guys collectively come together and put in your money, and then we go to the school and go ahead and implement. So there's multiple ways and creative ways to figure out how we can get the program in with the students. And I guarantee you, it's going to have a lot of peace of mind to that for sure.
Now, as this program is growing and becoming more comprehensive, that's awesome. But what about right now? If I have a parent who's like, oh, I like this idea, who are you targeting? Like, who do you best serve? Is it the kid on the bus, or is it the kid getting picked up by multiple people at Carline, or is it somebody walking home? Who would be like best fit?
Actually, right now, I'll tell you, it is going to be all four of the dismissal options actually are very beneficial. One, because our car rider line actually helps to give money back to the schools. So based off of what we've done in car rider, we can write a check back to the school, and then they can use it for whatever they want. Childcare and buses are a big thing. Most parents they work longer than the school day is, right? So they have to send their child to a place in between. We'll just say a holding spot, whether that's childcare or the neighbor's house. They are going somewhere else first. So you want to go ahead and make sure that's covered. 25 to 50% ride this yellow school bus. Those are the stats. That's what we started to learn. That not everybody's riding those school buses. But so we hear about the school buses that forget the children, but childcare is a big thing as well. So you want to have that too. But your largest population that's leaving the schools happen to be walkers. So you want to know what time they're leaving, so you can gauge how long it's taking them to get there, and then head off any nefarious behavior of others that are around them. So I don't know. I can't pick one. I think that all of them would be great. But if you want to, if there was one that I'd say that you would drop off, car rider can be dropped off of this, because the other three options are way more important, because with that car rider, at least you're giving them to someone. But those other threes are open-ended. You have no clue. And I can tell you that in our area, they lost a kid and they called 22 childcare centers, and every single one of them said that they did not have that child. And one called back and said, oops, we found him. And that means that he was in their childcare center for almost an hour before they realized that he was there. And that becomes a liability to the childcare center.
Yeah, that's very scary, and exactly why we're glad that you created this platform. Can you tell us more about the children that have been saved because of the things that you're doing?
So we have every single day, we know that there are at least 2 children that we find our system says, hey, they're out of place. During the beginning of the school year, we're upwards of 40 a day. When we get into the school year, we hang around 5 or 6, but we know the base is about 2 every single day that we do. We take care of. We make sure that they get to where they're going. And if it wasn't for that, I think every day since we've started this, it's been well over, I want to say 180 kids. And the reason why was a few of the circumstances, one of the teachers forgot where they had placed one of the kids. It's not funny, but it happens. I think people don't realize 900 kids in a school is a lot. It's way more than your 2 or 3 or 5. So if you're having a hard time holding on to 5, they're definitely have a hard time holding on to 900 or more. And they put a child over to the side and forgot him. And that day, it saved her job and that child, because she was about to wave the bus on to move out of the way. And that child would have been lingering and left because they didn't even remember where they placed them. So every day, at least 2 kids.
That is amazing, because I think about it, and you could look at it one way. You could say, oh, it's only 2 kids, but I'll tell you what, it is not only 2 kids when it is your kid that is the one that's lost.
That is correct.
That completely changes the ball game. But you're right about parents just putting, I don't want to say too much trust. That's not really what I mean, but a lot of trust in humans. These teachers
Yes.
are just humans, and they make mistakes, and it wasn't ill intended. It just happens. They have a million things on their brain, just like we do. And we expect them to be superhuman for whatever reason, because we want teachers to be perfect. But it does happen. And this is going to be a great way to just to catch anything that might slip through a teacher's fingers, or an administrator, or anybody else who just, even a kid's trying to be sly and sneaky. I think it's
Yes.
a great idea. So last words for you, the organization, like, just tell me, what do you feel is the best thing about your program that really just hones in why parents should get it?
I believe that community and village build great humans. We talk about the fact that these teachers, I'm going to say school is parent number 2, home is parent number 1, right? And the community happens to be the grandparents, the aunties and uncles, whatever. But all 3 of them together actually support that child in a way that is so necessary for their growth. When we do not acknowledge the child, their voice, and what they're saying, we run the risk of burning bridges to communication for later. So it's not a matter of, as long as it's not my kid, it's not my problem. When you do that, you are opening up the door for it to be 100% your kid. And at the end of the day, vehicles and items can be replaced. Children can never be replaced. And so taking that risk is unfortunately playing Russian roulette with your child, not theirs, because their children are next to them as staff children or whatever else going on, and your child is the one that's out there lost. So make a decision and understand that your tax dollars is paying for your opinion and your request for your student in the school system, and that should never be taken lightly.
This is wonderful, Tabitha. So now tell us, if a parent is listening to this and they are completely resonating with you and want this program, where do they begin?
So you're going to go ahead and visit that website, kicksfirst.com. You're going to go ahead and fill out a contact us form, and then we'll reach out to you then. If you don't want to send in that form, and that's okay, because sometimes we just get inundated, pick up the phone, give me a call. Or you can send me an email at info@KYKSFIRST.com, or give me a call at 832-405-8036.
I hope today's episode brought value to your day. And if you want to become a more impactful parent, download the Impactful Parent app. The Impactful Parent app is free and full of episodes just like this one to help you in your parenting journey. So carry help and tips and parenting resources right in your pocket so that you can refer to it when you need it most. Plus, when you download the Impactful Parent app, you are also joining a community of like-minded parents that just want to be the best they can for their child. The app is free, so discover new techniques to make your parenting more effective and get parenting resources that are going to make your life easier. You can be intentional with your parenting with the Impactful Parent app. And since it's free, you have nothing to lose. Just go to your app store on your phone, type in Impactful Parent, and I will be there. Or you can go to theimpactfulparent.com and get the link. But until next time, you got this. I'm just here to help.